everyone, I'm Ellie, founder of Code of the Future, and today I'm going to be continuing with the HTML and CSS tutorials by starting a very simple website by showing you how you can create banners using both those programming languages. So today is going to be the start of making a little bit of a website, so hopefully you'll enjoy it, and if you do then don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit the bell notification, and if you want to support this channel even further then there's a donation link in the description box. So as usual I will put my glasses on and I'll move you onto the screen. Okay, cool. So we are in Visual Studio Code as usual. I've set up an index.html file and a CSS file just called My Styles. So if you haven't touched upon HTML or CSS before, there are two videos before this video. There are two videos on my channel that teach you basically how HTML works and also then incorporating CSS. So I'd recommend checking those videos out if you haven't already, learned how HTML and CSS works. But for now, I'm going to dive straight into the video and show you how we can start making banners. So we have this very simple website, and so at present we have a very bland website. Nothing comes up. So in this folder that I'm coding in, we have it here on my desktop. I'll open index.html and nothing pops up because we haven't coded anything yet. So what I'm going to start by doing is creating a div tag inside this body element. So the way that you do that is you just write div and we have it like this. So in div, a div is essentially kind of a section of your website. So I've got the W3 Schools website on my laptop here, and this just talks you through the definition and usage of a tag, of a div tag. So if you're a bit confused when I start coding, I thought I'd recommend checking this out. But essentially it says here the div tag defines a division or a section in a HTML document, and that's essentially all we need to know today, is that it will define a section in a specific HTML document. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some code inside this div tag, and that will correspond to a section on your website. And inside this div tag, that's when we're going to start doing our banners. Okay, cool. So inside my div tag, I want to do a header. So let's say h1, and my header I want to say Code of the Future in capital letters, because that's my YouTube channel. And then let's say maybe I want to do another header and I want to say maybe coding tutorials, because that's what my website is. Okay, so if I rerun my website now, notice I have this huge Code of the Future coding tutorials. Cool. But now I want to do some things with this, with this header that I've got. So one thing that I can do is, let's say I want to change this div. I can write here div, and if you remember from CSS, we have open brackets, and inside here we can do things like the color background, so background color even, not color background. So we'll do background color and I'll make it a light blue. So if I save this and we refresh, you'll notice that the background of these headers here is light blue. Awesome. So we can do it that way. So we can define div this way. Another thing that you can do is you can create a class inside a specific tag. So inside this div element we can say, okay, let's make a class. So I'll say this class is going to be my banner. So I've created a class called banner. Now if I go back onto my CSS, the way that you can then change the styles and everything of this banner class, all you do is you say dot banner and do the exact same as before. So let's say we want the color of the text to be red. So we'll save this, and remember to save the HTML. Okay, so we'll save this and we'll refresh. When I refresh, there we go, awesome. So this is another way of incorporating CSS styles. It means that you don't just have to say, okay, the body. It means that you can create different, say here we have h1, you can define a class in here and a class in here, and they can both be completely different. So I can call this, let's call this a class, and I'll say this is header 1. And in here I'll say this is class header 2. And what that means is you can then define, change these things, this Code of the Future and coding tutorials, because they're in different classes. So I'll do one here and I'll say, okay, let's do header 1. And remember, if it's a class, it has to have a dot in front of it. So let's say I want the colour of that specifically to be, let's say red. No, we've already got red. Let's say purple. And then let's say for header 2, I want the colour to be, okay, let's do light green. Okay, with light green. Save this and we'll rerun. Okay, nothing has happened. That's because I haven't saved my HTML file. I always forget to do that. We'll refresh. Okay, there we go. Awesome, it's done it. So this is another way that you can use CSS. You don't just have to specifically say, the div class, I want the background colour to be light blue. You can specify classes inside of tags, which will then change the style of whatever you have inside that tag. So code of the future here and coding tutorials. Okay, so for the ease of this video, I'm going to call this banner background. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to keep header, but I'll change it to header. And I'm going to have this as a paragraph instead. So let me just change a few things around and I'll explain what I'm doing. The reason for this is just that I can follow my code a bit easier. Okay, so what I've done here is I've created a div, so this is the section of the website. I have a h1 class, so this is going to be the header, and inside that header I've just created 2 paragraphs. So if I save this now and I run it, notice it's pretty much back to normal. The reason why the colours have changed is because I've changed the class here to header. So we no longer have a header 1 or a banner. We no longer have any of these. So I'll just get rid of these for the time being. Okay. So we have div, but what I'm going to do is instead of saying div, I'm going to change it to the class. We're just going to get rid of CSS completely, and this is where we're going to start doing a bit of, showing you how you can create banners and doing a whole range of different things. So we're going to start with the banner background. So we have banner, I think it was background like this, and I'm going to change a few things about this class. So this div class, that is the whole section of what we have inside our div element here. So I want to do the background colour. I really like light blue, so I'm going to keep with light blue. I'm then going to say, okay, I want to move my text. So I'm going to say text align, and I'm going to center it. And when I refresh, notice that it's moved into the center and we still have this light blue background. Awesome. Now, let's do something else with this banner. Let's say I want to change the font family. Okay, so let's go. Let's go with Arial. Ooh. Okay, we'll stick with that. Okay, because that's prompted. We'll save that, refresh. Awesome, look at that. It's changed the code of the future coding tutorials to a different font. Awesome. Okay, and I just remembered we need to add a colon there. Now what I'm going to show you is how you can actually make a border around this specific banner here. So we're going to have some colour around it. So the way that you do that is you will say border. We will define how many pixels we want this border to be. So I'm going to say 3 pixels. I'm going to say the border colour, I'm going to keep, let's go red, just to make it look a bit crazy. And I'm going to say that the border style is, we're going to do dashed. I'm going to do solid, just to show you we can have a solid line round. So I'm just going to save that and refresh. Look at that. How cool does that look? So you'll notice that when I did it before, we had this kind of gap at the top, this white gap. And something that's kind of worth remembering is that sometimes this happens. You'll have this white gap at the top, but then when you input a border, it will correctly amend that. So even if I said here, 0 pixel of this border, I don't want it to be that thick at all, it will go back to normal because there's no border around it. So back to 3, red, we'll refresh. Awesome. Now I could change it to maybe dark blue, make the colour scheme look a bit cooler. Dark blue, very nice, very neat. Okay, so there we have, we've got this really cool, text here. Okay, that is awesome. So let's say I want to add another little banner down here, and we'll just add this in, and let's create a new div. So we want a new kind of section, so we'll do div, and inside div we'll have this class as, let's say, banner 2. Okay, so inside this class, what shall I do? Let's say we want another paragraph, and I'll say we provide high quality coding tutorials. Okay, so if I run this, notice that it's just here. This is kind of what it looks like, a simple paragraph. Okay, now let's do some cool things with this. So we've got class banner 2. So what we'll do is we'll create kind of a new instance here. So banner 2, and we'll do some coding with it. So what background colour should we have? What did we have? Maybe let's stick to, I don't know, what colour shall we have? Maybe another kind of blue. Should we just go for a different colour? Let's go pink. Refresh. There we go. Okay, cool. Now let's do some of the cool things that we did here before. So let's say text align. Let's say we want it to be in the center again. Let's say I want the font family to be the same as above. So that one, Arial, and this, okay. Awesome. And let's say I also want a border. But I want a border that's a bit less thick. So 2 pixels. I'll say that the border color is, let's go purple, going crazy. And then border style, let's say I don't want it solid, I want it to be dotted, just something a little bit different. So I'll save this and we'll rerun. Look at that, how cool is that? We've done something a little bit different here. Awesome. So, you know, you can change the font size as well to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm not sure how big 30 pixels is. I guess we'll find out. Okay, cool, something like that. Awesome. So what we have managed to do here is create these borders around our certain text. You can dotted lines, you know, this div tag really shows you how you have a div tag here and a div tag here, and they're both completely separate elements, kind of separate sections on the HTML file, and it's just awesome. And you know, again, you can do something like this. So we can add let's say an A in here, and I'm going to just add the href of my YouTube channel, which I happen to have here, my code of the future, and I'll copy the link of that and copy it into there, and let's say subscribe. We'll say subscribe. And while you're here, subscribe to this channel, please. It honestly means the world when I get comments from people saying that, oh yeah, I subscribed. So yeah, I guess while I'm here saying that, please subscribe and hit the bell button on my channel. So let's refresh. Okay, so it's got this little subscribe down here, and again we can change things to how we want. So we'll notice that this div class is in our banner too. We can also create a class inside our A. So we can say, let's say class is, we'll call it subscribe, because this is kind of what the whole point of it is. Refresh, obviously nothing happens because our subscribe class is empty. We'll go down here, go dot subscribe, and let's say I want to do some other cool things with it. So let's say I want the font size to be, say, 30 pixels again. I don't want a border color around this specific image. Let's say I want the font family to be something completely different. So let's go with this one. I'll save it and we'll refresh, and notice how it's changed. Awesome. Amazing. Now I think I can change the background color of it as well. It may look a little bit maybe less neat. I'll do red. We'll refresh, and notice how the subscribe button there has completely gone into all red, because that is the text. So it's really worth remembering that when you do these CSS, you know, CSS, really think about what class you have and whereabouts it is. So here we have this div, and with a, you know, class banner background, it will kind of do the whole area, whereas here with this A, with this class, you know, we've just done a simple link, it will just do the text, whereas we noticed before that this did the entire kind of area. So you can do that, subscribe, you know, you can change around the colours, make this look a little bit neater than what it is here, and just have a play around with it. I thought it was really handy today to show you how you can start incorporating some extra elements within CSS and just do some amazing things. Now the final thing that I'm going to show you is how you can start doing padding on the top and bottom of certain banners. So we'll say on this banner too, we'll say padding top, it's going to be 30 pixels, and I'm going to say padding bottom, bottom is 30 pixels as well. And I'll refresh. Okay, and notice how this suddenly got bigger. So it's really important that this whole padding top and bottom and side gives you this kind of range to move things. So notice how before that line was like completely next to the subscribe button. Here we can start doing padding and moving it around, and it's just really, really cool. I honestly love it. So in this video I've shown you how you can do banners, you know, borders, a whole range of different things with CSS, and I encourage you to just go and explore this, see what else you can include in your CSS code, and just have fun with it, and hopefully, you know, get a few banners here and there and start making what looks like a website. In the next video I'm going to be showing you how you can make your very own website. It will be a very simple website, but I'm hoping to touch upon some really cool features, you know, within the website. And the video after that I'll be showing you how you can find templates online and start making very professional looking websites. So that has been the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please give this video a big thumbs up, and if you want to support the channel even further, then hit the subscribe button and the bell notification with it so you don't miss out on any future videos, and also check out the donation link in the description of this video. But for now, I will see you all in the next video.